Hello and welcome everybody. My name's Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me for the Sensational Scorpio 2022 horoscope. Well, we're having a more positive year this year than where we've been in 2020 or 2021, that's for sure. But we still do have a couple of difficult influences that are happening. Saturn squaring Uranus, that continues on, and we could find times in the year when we're very frustrated and we feel restricted or held back in some way. And another difficult influence for those people that are in the US and also the rest of the world, because it will affect the rest of the world in some fashion, and that is the Pluto return that's happening on the 21st of February right through to 2024. There's a number of hits. So this basically brings up manipulation, aggression, like extreme aggression. It also brings up addiction, compulsion, narcissism, all of those fun things. But on the positive side, there is the cycle of life, death and rebirth. And it's almost like we've been going through the death period, and you can see just by the sheer numbers of people who have passed from COVID, and it's over 810,000, something like that, in the US, which is absolutely awful, just horrific. And so the death has been happening, but what we're going to see in 2022 is rebirth. And we're going to see signs of that, and there's going to be little glimmers of hope, and it's like we're looking down the tunnel and we see the light. You know, the death is coming to an end in some way, and so this cycle of life, death, rebirth continues. And 248 years ago, which is when Pluto was where it is coming back in its same orbit, where it was the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So there could be something happening with the US Constitution or some important laws, you know, that the country is sort of founded on. They could be rewritten or reinterpreted in some way. Okay, so it's a very exciting period, in fact, once we get past this death thing. It's a stimulating new beginning, a new cycle. The other thing too, especially if you are watching and you're in the US and you're a Scorpio, both your co-rulers, Mars and Pluto, are going retrograde. With Mars, you'll definitely feel it. With Pluto, not so much, but it is a ruler, and if you're living in the US or you're dealing with authority figures or people that have control and power over you, you might find that there's some things coming up that you have to deal with concerning that situation. Other important things are there's 4 eclipses, but 2 are in your sign, Sensational Scorpio, so you're really going to feel those. And also Jupiter is doing a little dance between your 5th and your 6th houses. So I'm going to talk about all of these points in depth in your horoscope in a moment. Firstly, just to explain, I like to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the year for you. We'll have a look at your horoscope in depth, and then I'll do a psychic channeling at the end, so do stick around for that. Let's go to the board now and see what the cards have to say. I'll just straighten that up a little bit, move that up there so you can see it. Okay, so 2 tarot cards. If you really want to think in terms of time, you can think of this first card, which just popped out. This first card is the first 6 months. I didn't even get to close my eyes on this one. King of Pentacles. Okay, this is somebody who is extremely experienced, very mature and sensible with money. And it's a male energy that is good at making money. This could be someone around you, or it could be inside you, because all women have male energy and all men have female energy. So you'll notice here he's sort of dressed in a purpley aubergine colour, which indicates there's some sort of spiritual reality there. There could even be some intuition regarding money. You see all these purple grapes at the top. This suggests there's some sort of harvest or reward coming to you this year concerning your finances. It's very exciting, actually, and you really can make the most of financial opportunities this year. There is a bit going on here in your second house of money to start the year off, okay? I will talk about this. Okay, the second card of the year for you sensational Scorpios. Let's see what comes out. Oh, I'll go with that one on top, I guess. Closing my eyes. What do I see? Okay, I've got gold coins in front of me this time. Gold is male, and coins are usually about transformation and change, although they can sometimes indicate money. Now I see some chains in front of me, and the links are just all falling off in front of me. So some sort of restriction around transformation in the past, and it's falling away. Another thing I see, it's like I'm in Europe, I don't know, 17th, 18th century. There's a man here with a great big huge ring, which is a cluster of diamonds. So diamonds are always about heat and pressure and getting the reward at the end. The card that comes up is the Chariot card. Okay, this is a major arcana. This suggests a lot of ambition, a lot of drive. You want to get ahead this year, and you'll be able to by grabbing the bull by the horns, so to speak. The old-fashioned saying is. You'll see two Egyptian statues of the goddess Bast, her familiar. These cats here, these are familiars of the goddess Bast. This is about being solid, reliable, practical, getting on and getting the job done. You can manifest your heart's desires in 2022 by keeping your feet on the ground and being practical. But Chariot, yeah, go ahead, move ahead, movement forward. It's very exciting. And one other point with that too is, like, if you've had some difficulties, it's like those difficulties are resolved with the Chariot energy. It's like it might have taken a long time, but victory is yours. Okay, so these are your two cards. Bear these in mind because they'll probably come up in the horoscope somewhere. All right, let's make this a little bit bigger, and I'll move that up there because there is a lot happening here. All right, so 4 eclipses, 2 of which are in your sign, a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. Okay, stirring things up and bringing new beginnings to your identity. I'll talk about this in depth in a moment. Jupiter changing signs and houses. Jupiter here in your 5th house in Pisces, moving into your 6th house of everyday work, expansion, a new job, a promotion. It's also your habits, what you do on a daily basis. Even if you're not working, you still have a sort of a routine. It can also indicate your health. You've got more vitality, more energy, and your well-being is much better. You'll probably feel this. It's like a kick, it's like a burst of vitality that comes through. So I'll talk about that shortly. Saturn squaring Uranus, here's Uranus here, and Saturn that continues. These are just important points I'm just covering briefly before I get to the guts of it, so to speak. Mars, your ruler, it's at the moment it's here in the 2nd house to start the year, but by the time we come around to Mars going retrograde, it will be going retrograde in your 11th and your 10th houses. So this is about the groups, connections and friendships. You might find that things go quieter for a while. And 10th house is about your career, your vocation, what you really want to do with your life. And you might find that that slows down at some point during the retrograde. So that's 30th of October through to the 12th of January 2023. It starts off here in your 10th house, goes retrograde into your 11th, and then goes back into your 10th. Okay. The other thing to note is your co-ruler Pluto, which is currently here in the third house, and it'll probably stay there because it takes a long time to get around the wheel, is retrograde from the 29th of April to the 8th of October in Scorpio, here in the third house of publishing, communications, your general area. Because this is a transpersonal planet, it's not so much concerned with you as an individual. It is about the collective. It's about society. So you may or may not feel that. But retrogrades are always a time of reassessment. Go back and look in your life at different areas and see what you have to reflect upon, review, and, substantially change. So I just think that's interesting. That'll be retrograde when the US is experiencing its Pluto retrograde through 2022 to 2024. So there's different hits during the year. And so you might find particularly volatile periods of time where it's probably better not to go out in some areas, that's for sure. But it is the beginning of a new foundation. It's like the old has to be washed away before the new foundation can be built. So that part of it is exciting. All right, let's have a look at your horoscope in depth now. And we have until the 8th of February, Neptune conjuncting Neptune. This is really highlighting your spirituality. Your imagination is vivid, and you're likely to enjoy fairy tales and the esoteric. And it's here in the 5th house here. So this is wonderful for your creativity. You might find you can create all manner of nice things. It's also good for relationships, but you need to be careful of rose-coloured glasses with Neptune, because sometimes a relationship or a romance in particular can look better than it actually is. You're not seeing the full picture there. Saturn conjunct Saturn up until the 10th of January. So this is, you might be feeling more mature, or, questioning your commitments, the decisions that you've made, your partnerships, your marriage, where you live, all the areas of your life. So it's a time of self-analysis and looking at the direction of your life, which is appropriate at the beginning of the year, of course. 26th of December to the 6th of January, Jupiter conjuncts Jupiter, brings in a new cycle when you formulate your plans and ideas that will extend over the next 12 years. So this is very significant. Your ambitions and ideals slowly and gradually shift towards a new focus. This is a period of rebirth and renewed optimism. So there is a theme of rebirth coming through, and you're going to get this vibe, of new beginnings and things starting afresh, and it could even seem quite amazing, some of the things you're probably going to hear next year in 2022. Up until the 31st of January, and then again from the 6th of August to the 7th of December, Pluto conjuncts Pluto, bringing up all of this subconscious sort of energy, this deep hidden things. Secrets could be revealed. It could be quite almost amazing or even shocking as to what you hear. We might hear in the media, for example, or even on alternative media, we might hear things that are quite shocking. These things have been buried, and then all of a sudden they become known. You might also remember incidences that you'd forgotten, things that happened a long time ago in your own life. You feel quite instinctive. You do things out of instinct rather than logical thought. Sometimes that's okay, except do be careful with money doing that. 5th of January to the 22nd of January, Saturn sextiles Mars, brings cooperation and harmony with co-workers and colleagues. If you're part of the club, organisation or team, it's likely, if you're working on something together, it's likely to be very successful, because teamwork really does pay off under this influence. From the 22nd of January to the 4th of February, Venus trines Uranus. This is fabulous because it brings unexpectedly, like a bolt out of the blue, it brings good luck, unexpected pleasures. It could be that you feel playful or adventurous. It could be something to do with money, because Venus does look after money, or it could even be something to do with, perhaps romance. Something positive can happen because the trine is a very positive aspect. So it is time to have a break from your usual routine and, a new romance or revitalisation of the current relationship is quite likely. 22nd of February to the 2nd of March, Jupiter squares Mars. Normally you think of a square as being a bit sort of more difficult, but this isn't, because Jupiter's involved. You're likely to be more bold, daring and enterprising. If you've had a feeling of restriction or feeling like you're hemmed in by something, it's like all of a sudden when this influence starts, Jupiter is encouraging you to break out of those restrictions, and Jupiter's going to help you do that, and you will accomplish more. You'll probably seek a new job or look for new places to live or some sort of business opportunity. Your life becomes much bigger and broader. From the 4th of February to the 1st of April, Uranus squares Saturn, and almost again exactly on the 4th of October, except for 37 degrees. So it's not quite an exact square, but this means that, things can be quite difficult. If you've scheduled things, you might find there's delays, timing doesn't work out in these time periods. They run their own course, whatever your plans are. They don't listen to what you want, they do what they want. There's disturbances, annoyances and interruptions. This makes it hard for you to stick to your knitting and do what you want to do. 20th of February to the 15th of April, Neptune sextiles Venus, and it happens again from the 14th of September to the 16th of February 2023. This is beautiful. This is one of the highlights of the year, actually, because everybody is likely to have more compassion, more sympathy, more concern for other people, and that's what we've been sadly lacking over the last couple of years. Everybody's concerned about their rights, but we don't hear much about people's responsibilities, what their responsibilities are. We just hear about their rights. Under this influence, that's going to change, and we're going to be more concerned about each other. So your heart is likely to reach out to other people and offer assistance, or they may offer assistance to you. It goes both ways. If you have had a difficulty with someone, it could be it's time to break through the barrier that separates you and to heal the situation. 24th of March to the 2nd of April, Jupiter conjuncts Neptune, and you might be feeling like you're attracted to the exotic. Your mind is sort of wandering away to faraway places. Your imagination is on fire with, creativity. If you do feel boredless with your regular everyday routine, you'll be looking at a way to spice things up a bit. Maybe you want to travel. Perhaps you're daydreaming a lot. If you can get away, that would be fabulous. 16th of April to the 25th of April, Jupiter sextiles Pluto, brings cooperation with businesses, government agencies, organisations and influential people. And you'll find that there's more cooperation and assistance from authorities and bureaucracies that might have in the past just ignored you when you wanted help with something. Now it's like people are willing to help you more. 30th of April, the 1st of May in Australia and New Zealand, there's a solar eclipse here in your 7th house of the other, the important committed relationships in your life. So it can bring new beginnings to significant relationships and partnerships. A casual romance could deepen, so there's a new level of commitment, or an existing relationship is rejuvenated or strengthened. If you do have any legal matters, there could be some sort of positive change there, or a breakthrough or healing concerning people you don't get on with. The 10th of May to the 27th of October, and again the 20th of December through to the 16th of May 2023, Jupiter moves into your 6th house here, and this is going to bring an expansion in your everyday life. It could be your job, what you do on a daily basis. It could also be your habits, that you tweak your habits and get a life that works more for you, works better for you. It's also your well-being. You're likely to have more energy. If you have had some sort of health problem, there could be an improvement in your health and your vitality is just, skyrocketing. So that's fabulous. Jupiter brings good luck. It heals a situation and fixes things that need to be fixed. It's very positive. It brings you hope and optimism if you're in your everyday life. The 15th of May sees a lunar eclipse in your sign that brings a transformation of your core identity. Okay, this is all about you, what you believe, what you want, what's important to you. And you get more clarity as a result of this lunar eclipse. But the clarity comes after you've gone through a period of stuff coming up from your subconscious. So you have to sort things out first to get the clarity. There's a lot of energy being stirred up in your own subconscious, a bit like, mud on the bottom of a river or something like that. There's a bit of turbulence that rises up into your mind before you actually do the cleaning out and decide what really matters to you. You might get rid of extraneous situations in your life, things you don't need anymore, that are taking up your energy, basically. So it's a good clean out. 24th of May to the 5th of June, and then again 20th of September to the 5th of October. Jupiter trines your MC, bringing fortunate circumstances in your vocation, in your general life direction. If you had some obstacles or impediments, restrictions that were sort of slowing you down, they seem to disappear now. Your work is likely to progress very smoothly. It's a time of steady growth and progress combined with enjoyable and harmonious relationships with other people. 15th of May to the 11th of August, Neptune sextiles Pluto, bringing fabulous psychological and inner growth. You may not notice any changes externally in your outside life, but what's actually happening is internally you are eliminating a lot of deeply held, ingrained attitudes that were quite negative and really not helping you in life. 25th of October, there's a solar eclipse here in your sign again, bringing new beginnings and understanding about yourself. And you might choose to want to reflect your newfound identity in your clothing, your hair, your makeup, what you look like. And people might say, geez, you've changed a bit, but not really be able to put their finger on exactly what's changed. 8th of November sees a lunar eclipse in Taurus in your 7th house of committed relationships, including marriage, personal and business partnerships. There's a lot of transformation going on, deep, compelling feelings coming up about your relationships that you'll have to deal with. Now you'll see here these eclipses here in the 1st house, your sign, and then here in the 7th house, your sign, your significant others, house of significant others and partnerships. This is like they're activating each other, and so you've got to get the balance of what is right for you, what do you want, and what is right for the other person, especially if you're in a committed relationship, like for example like a marriage or something like that. So it's always a balancing thing between your desires and the other person's desires. But there is a lot going on this year. This Mars retrograde, it's like these areas slow down and then they take off again, and that's where this Chariot card is really going to come into its own. You'll be really making up a lot of speed and, in your efforts to get ahead in life. Just when the retrograde stops, just be cautious that you're not too forceful, because you're going to have a lot of newfound energy. Other people may not have that, so just be careful that you don't come across with too much force. All right, so that's your horoscope. Now I'm just going to close my eyes and see what I can see for you. Sensational Scorpio for 2022. Yeah, I'm really feeling this card. It's like riding a horse bareback, and the horse is going along at 100 miles an hour or something. It's hard to stay on because you don't have a saddle. So I would say maybe just slow down a little and be cautious of accidents. Okay, when Mars turns direct, you may find that you're rushing. The other thing is Mars is very future oriented, and it might be in your head to be thinking about things in the future rather than being truly present with what you're doing right at the moment. You need to be present, okay, to avoid accidents. Very important. Okay, July, I see the word July flashing in my mind. What does that mean? Something about relationships. I see a couple in bed. Okay, that just means basically a union, an integration, the energy coming together. Oh, okay. And if there has been some sort of argument or disagreement, there's a healing around that in July. All right. There's something here about your intuition, and also it's almost like witchcraft or something like that in the positive sense, a white witch. And this is about doing rituals, setting yourself up. It's excellent on, New Year's Eve if you can. Stay up till midnight and do a little ritual about how you want your year to play out, okay? Green candles is good for growth and opportunity. It's also good for your money. Maybe do some research online as to what rituals you can do to start your year off. The other thing I didn't mention is that Venus is retrograde to the 29th of January, which means things could be slower in your love life up until that time. Whenever we have a retrograde, we have to reassess, and we have to find a new way of dealing with the energy. Just because something's retrograde doesn't mean it's a bad thing, okay? It just means it's a slowing down. Okay, and something about the wind blowing new. Okay, so the wind is always about your thoughts. So there's new ideas and concepts coming, and some of which will be very significant in changing your life. Okay, so that's it, Sensational Scorpio. I hope this is useful for you. Please share on your socials, leave a like, that would be fabulous. If you're new, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell right now. Have a wonderful year, everyone. I know you will. Okay, I'll see you all again soon. Thanks, and bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day. Thanks so much for watching. Please